I am a labor officer. Under the OSH&WC Code 2020, industrial liability in India is defined by a specific, centralized hierarchy. Chapter 4 of this code replaces static safety rules with a dynamic oversight structure. This matrix illustrates a bidirectional safety architecture, connecting national policy with daily factory execution. It rests on 3 pillars: governance for designing standards, enforcement for rules, and site execution for monitoring. We will map sections 16 through 22 to reveal your statutory obligations. Facility leaders must use this matrix to audit their operations, as the code links site-level performance directly to central government oversight. The regulatory command chain begins at the level of the central government. Section 16 mandates the constitution of the National Occupational Safety and Health Advisory Board. This organizational chart outlines its composition. The Secretary of Labor chairs the board, directing technical experts, including the Director General of Mine Safety and the Chief Controller of Explosives. The law also requires 5 employer and 5 employee representatives, each serving 3-year terms. Under Section 17, state governments are required to mirror this structure by forming their own state advisory boards for regional administration. To supply these boards with empirical data, Section 19 authorizes notified research institutions to conduct experiments and gather data on occupational health. Safety policy under Chapter 4 functions as a continuous feedback loop between scientific research and statutory advisory boards. Once governance sets the agenda, Pillar 2 translates those policies into actionable standards and enforcement protocols. Section 18 grants the central government the power to declare standards covering physical, chemical, and biological hazard exposure. This flowchart demonstrates technical audit requirements. Employers must execute hazard evaluations, such as hazard and operability studies, known as HAZOP, and fault tree analysis. Section 18 includes an extended liability clause. Employers must provide medical monitoring for occupational diseases, even after a worker's employment ends. These standards are paired with enforcement mechanisms defined in Section 20. Chief inspectors can conduct site surveys at any time during normal working hours. Employers are legally required to facilitate these surveys. This includes providing access for testing plant machinery and the collection of material samples. Workers are obligated to undergo mandated medical examinations during these surveys. The code dictates that time spent in these exams counts as paid working hours. When the government sets hazard thresholds and inspectors verify them on site, the facility's operational reality becomes a matter of public record. The final pillar moves the legal burden to the industrial practitioner and site management. Section 21 requires state and central governments to collect and compile occupational safety statistics from every facility. This includes an electronic portal to track interstate migrant workers, where individuals can register themselves using Aadhaar identification. Section 22 details the requirements for establishing internal safety committees. These committees must maintain equal representation. The number of worker representatives cannot be less than the number of representatives for the employer. Section 22 also enforces numerical thresholds for appointing qualified safety officers. A standard factory must appoint an officer if it ordinarily employs 500 or more workers. That threshold is reduced to 250 workers for construction sites or factories engaged in hazardous processes. The most stringent threshold applies to mining. Because of the specific risks in these environments, a mine must appoint a safety officer at 100 workers. Site execution is defined by these headcounts. Reaching these specific numbers triggers the structural obligations required by the code. These 3 pillars form an interconnected architecture. National boards set the hazard thresholds, government inspectors survey sites against those limits, and internal safety officers are tasked with maintaining daily compliance. The addition of electronic tracking for migrant workers ensures that previously untracked data is integrated into this national safety loop. Make no mistake, the OSH Code of 2020 requires active, documented compliance at every level of the command chain. You must audit your headcounts, appoint the required officers, and prepare your facility for surveys. Under Chapter 4, the statutory requirements are specific. Failing to meet them creates a direct and actionable liability.